Greetings, everyone. This is the Gardening Snail of Livingston, California, just trying to keep the community informed and local government as honest as possible.
Which is discussion and direction on fire department commission. So this item I know has been brought up several times and discussed, or at least brought up to council. So a little background on that. This is actually something that we talked about, myself and our city manager months ago. I think the purpose of this commission, and just to go even a little further, for myself, I've been obviously a big advocate for the fire department. It's no secret. I think there's historically a lack of advocacy and attention to the fire department in our city. It's always been like, oh, it's the county's department. Oh, it's the city's department. So it's been in limbo for, sometimes it feels that way, So to me, I had these discussions with our city manager, and something that, came up, or an idea that came up, was to have a fire commission. I think it's a good idea. I know that, there's pros and cons like everything else, but this will be another avenue to advocate for the fire service in our city. I think we all are in agreement that, we need to plan for the future, establish a foundation for our fire department, set goals, and really, brainstorm to see where the department's going to head, where we're going to go, where's the, plan, because that has been lacking here in our city for a very long time. And this tool, the commission, will be something that we could use as an advocacy avenue to advocate for the needs of the fire service to the city and to the community. So I think it's a good idea. As I've talked to many of you guys in the fire service, it's not a way of making it a political thing. It really is just a tool to use to advocate for the needs of the fire service, plain and simple. We've done some research in other cities, other communities that use this, and it seems to be a positive thing. It could be comprised of members from, CAL FIRE, Merced County, the volunteer company, council, or the community. The makeup could be discussed and really research to see what the makeup would be. Just to summarize, like I said, I think one of the departments here in our city where the tension from the council and city hall has lacked is the fire department. Like I said, we need a foundation, we need infrastructure. There's a lot of needs. Eventually, I think our partnership with CAL FIRE Merced County is good. It works. But we need to start thinking of the future, 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead. Where are we going to be at? Where's the fire department going to be at? How big the city is going to be? And I think this is really a platform where some of those discussions could happen, make recommendations to City Hall and to the council. Another tool to educate the council. A lot of people don't understand the complexities of how this department is configured with, the county, CAL FIRE, the volunteer company, all in one. The city, there's the City of Livingston Fire Department too. So, there's a lot of things to address. Even what's on the website in regards to the actual description of what the fire department needs to be looked at. So this is another tool that maybe this commission could work towards really defining what the department is and what the goals are. So that's why I've been, we talked with Vanessa, and I know she actually brought this up, and I think it's a good idea. I've been bouncing off some of you. Like I said, I know there's pros and cons. But I think overall, I am advocating for it. I don't know if council has any questions or any ideas. And I don't want it to be something that it's like, oh, shoot, here we go, another meeting, every other week. It doesn't necessarily need to be like that. It could be a quarterly thing, or it could be, maybe as things arise that need to be addressed, it could be called upon, and people could get together and make that recommendation to City Hall or the council. So with that, council, do you guys have any comments, questions? Like I said, this is just a discussion item and direction. We'll hopefully hear from our fire personnel, see what their thoughts are, and if we're in agreement, maybe explore some of the options, how it would look like, and then bring it back to council in the near future. So council, do you guys have any questions or comments initially?
Well, definitely. I mean, I think it's great, and I wish that we didn't have to have a commission to get things done, When there's a need, there's a need. But I think something very important, is there going to be breakfast included?
At least once a year.
Okay.
$8.
Okay. No. Like, what's the idea? Who will be part of the commission, like 2 or 3 members, like?
So I think that's what research, so if we were to give kind of direction or an agreement that staff need to further research this and bring it back to council, I think that's something staff would need to touch bases with fire and see how it would be comprised, like how many members of what department, or how it would look like to make it happen. So I think I don't think we're talking initially details, but if there's an interest or an agreement by the council and fire to look at some examples of what other cities do, and if there's an interest, then staff would do some research or options and recommendations, bring it back to us.
Yeah, so definitely. I mean, I'm all in favor. I think it's me being someone that that is in the process of learning how some of the departments work. It'll be great to get to learn a little bit more and work along and plan. And everything is about money. So just gotta kind of be open-minded and kind of see what everybody thinks and just look for solutions. And I'm all for it.
Thank you. Anybody else?
No, I'm also in support of it, and maybe you guys need to just bring what you guys have and show it to us, and how it's going to be ran and who's going to run it and all the details on that. So if you guys would have had it tonight, it would have been great. But always be ready.
Maria?
Through your advocacy, I heard a lot of pros in regards to what you're proposing. You did mention some cons. Other than the time commitment, what would that be? What would make this a bad idea?
The time commitment, you said? Oh, what other cons you mean?
You said there were pros and cons
And
towards
that's,
this?
and I would like to hear from fire personnel, see what are their thoughts, if there's any any disagreements or non-accordance. So I would like, I feel like it's a good thing, but I would like to hear it.
You mentioned that there's pros and cons, and I was just.
I said, I'm sure they're probably, not everybody's in agreement, or maybe not everybody's in agreement, but I would like to hear that, definitely. Okay, so we're gonna take it out for public comment. Any public comment? Or anybody from fire want to make a comment regarding this item? Not everybody at once.
I guess since nobody's really wanted to get up, I'll speak a little bit. Hi, my name is Jose Flores. I've been a firefighter here in the City of Livingston for 20 years. I've been very devoted to the city and this community. I've lived here my whole life, so something like this is something that's been talked about for a very long time. And I can tell you right now, like Juan mentioned, the relationship between CAL FIRE, Merced County Fire, and the City of Livingston has always been a good one. It's never been something that I want to say that, just like anything else, like, like Big Brother, we'll have our disagreements, but it's never been to the point where you have a department leave, because it's happened where in other communities where the fire department, the volunteer department will get up and just say, we're done. And I can show you news articles every month that show something like that happening. It's never happened here, and there's a reason for that. It's because we as a community work together really well. You guys were talking about the commission. I think the commission, if it comprised of part of the volunteer staff, some of the paid staff, and the community, and some of the council to kind of understand what the needs are for the department, I think that would be the best approach for this. Not just having the fire members, but the community, because a lot of the community don't understand the dynamics of our department. Because we have a lot, it's very, very broad, because we have our CAL FIRE staff who work for the state. We have our Merced County Fire counterparts, so they're our third party. The CAL FIRE gentlemen are our third party. They're state employees who are working for the Merced County, representing the Merced County Fire Department. And then you have the volunteers who work for Merced County. Like for me, you'll see I have two patches on this uniform. One says Merced County, and the other one says Livingston Fire. The Livingston Fire is representing the volunteer aspect of it, because there is a volunteer aspect to our department. Every time you see the fire department covering football games, covering the Sweet Potato Festival, the color run, that is us doing the volunteer work. We are not getting paid for that time. When you see us on emergencies, when we're at fires, stuff like that, we are getting paid at that point. At that point, we are firefighters. We're getting compensated for our time. But a lot of people don't understand that dynamic. So having all the parties involved working together to understand and see what the needs are for the future, I think would be a great start for meeting the needs of the city as it's growing, especially since we're going to get closer to one day needing 2.0 staffing, having additional personnel at our station, having an additional fire station. We're going to get to Atwater City really quick. Atwater City has two fire stations, both duly staffed. We're working with one that's been here since the department was almost developed. It's not really that old, but it feels like it. So our needs are there. It's just, I think, having everybody's input, having everybody who would be involved, the community, the volunteers, the paid staff, and the council all working together to figure out how do we meet those needs. So I think that would be a good start.
Thank you, sir. And you say a good point. This is not because there's a conflict or disagreement or we don't want the county here. It has nothing to do with that. It really has to do with working together and advocating for fire as a collected front, which has lacked for a very long time in regards to council and city hall. So this is more of a collaborative effort, working together to advocate. Like Jose said, I think I appreciate the relationship we have with Merced County, obviously, and CAL FIRE, and it works. It definitely works. So, any other comments by the public or fire personnel? Anybody on the phone? The sheriff's department. Just kidding. Anybody? Oh. And I just want to remind everybody, very importantly, that the sheriff's department lost against the fire department in softball. What was the score? 11-9. Okay. So I think I'll bring it back to council. It sounds